Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is our lesson 7 on Katalon automation tool concepts. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you about test suite collections. So what is test suite collection and why do we use test suite collection? And also I'm going to teach you how can we perform parallel testing by using automation tool Katalon. And also I'm going to teach you how can we perform cross-browser testing by using Katalon automation tool. So this is really very important concept, guys. I would suggest you guys to please visit my previous 6 lessons before you proceed with this particular lesson 7 so that you will be able to understand the concepts very well. Okay, please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos on these concepts. Okay, so what is our agenda item? So what is test suite collection and why test suite collection required? So let me show you one small example. Why do we need test suite collection and what is test suite collection in Katalon automation tool? If you see in the diagram, let's say I have 10 different test cases. 2 test cases are related to login functionality, 3 other test cases are related to shopping cart, and 3 other test cases are related to registration, and 2 test cases are related to logout, which means I have 4 different modules and I have derived test cases for all these 4 different modules. So I can form these modules into different test suites, right? So let's assume for login, I have created a separate test suite. Let's say for shopping cart, all the automation test cases, I formed it as a test suite 2, and all the automation test cases related to registration, I collected it as test suite 3 and logout test suite 4. I have already explained you how can we create test suite in my lesson 6, which is my previous lesson. Please visit that video to understand how to create test suites. Okay. So let's assume I have 4 different test suites. Now I can logically collect these test suites into test suite collections. Let's assume if I want to group login and shopping cart and logout in test suite collection 1 and registration as test suite collection 2. Let's assume I have to perform smoke testing. So as soon as I get the build, the major functionality which I want to test is login, shopping cart, logout. I don't want to test registration. So now I can form these test suite 1, 2, 4 as one collection, which is test suite collection 1, and registration I'll be moving it to test suite collection 2 so that I can execute these test suite collections at logical basis, right? And also you can create test suite collections the way you execute. In the way you execute, let's assume test suite collection 1 I'll be executing on Chrome. Test suite collection 2 or 3 I'll be executing on Firefox. So if you see here on the screen, test suite collection 1 and 2 I have already created by segregating logically. The same test suites I can group into the new collections, collection 3 and 4, right? But these collection 3 and 4 I'll be executing on Firefox browser. That means you can create test suite collections based on the way you execute also. That means if I'm executing on Firefox, I'll create one collection. If I'm executing on Chrome, then I'll create another collection. If I'm executing test cases on Windows, I'll create another collection. And probably I'll be creating another collection for executing the same test cases in Mac machine. Okay, so hope you understand why do we need these test suite collections. So now let me explain how to create and run test suite collection by using Katalon automation tool. And also I'm going to teach you how can we perform parallel testing. Basically, how can we run tests in parallel. Okay, and also how can we run tests in multi browsers in parallel and in sequence. Okay, so all these concepts I'm going to explain you by using Katalon automation tool. Okay, let's jump onto the system and see how can we perform all these actions by using Katalon automation tool. Okay, it's really very important concepts. Okay, let's jump onto the system. Yes, so this is our Katalon automation tool. Okay, so where in my previous video sessions, I have already explained you a basic login functionality where we are using the test project example website, right? Where I'll be logging into the application and then I'm validating once I log in whether I landed to the main page or not, and then I'm logging out. Okay, so that means I've already covered we already automated login functionality. Now let me create another new test case related to registration. Okay, let me automate registration. Okay, registration test. Okay, so let's automate registration functionality. Okay, so this is my new test case, right? Where let me start recording. Okay, let me start recording. Record web. Okay, so let me close this before I start recording. I will let me close this browser. Okay, so this is my website. Okay, and then click on record. So as soon as you click on record, so as I explained you earlier, it opens a browser, right? So now let me just enter the username and then password and login. Now let's complete the registration. Basically, you'll be providing all the information related to the registration. Okay, what is the country? Let's select the country. United States. Let's provide the address. Okay, and provide the email address and then provide the phone number. Okay, and then click on save button. Okay, the data is saved. Now just log out. So done. Okay, let's save the script. So now, so as I already explained you, it's going to ask you, do you want to save all these objects in the object repository? So I want to save this in a new repository. Okay, called registration. Click OK. Select this registration, click OK. So now the recording is done. You can see a new repository has been created with all the objects related to registration, right? And if you see here, this is our entire scripting. Let me run this and make sure it works fine. Okay, just run this. So as soon as you run, so it opens the Chrome browser and it performs the registration operation. Okay, so Chandrakant, yes, done. And then it should select the country. Yes, it selects the country and then email address, save and log out. Okay, so done. So let me close the browser as well. Okay, once I perform the logout, I want to add a new step here. Okay, add close browser. That's it. Okay. So we are done. Now let me create another test case. So let me make this, rename this. Okay. Rename this. Okay. So, let me rename this as some test cases login registration. Okay. Okay. So now let me also, I want to create another test case where I will be testing the functionality of logout. Okay. So where I will be testing the functionality of logout. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So let me create another new test case. New. So I'm creating multiple test cases because to explain about the test suite, test suites and test suite collections. Okay. Logout. I'm just creating a logout test case and then let's automate logout functionality. For that again, do a recording. Click on record. So I'm not performing any validations because of the time constraint. Okay. So here let's log in by using James profile and then let's validate if this logout button is available or not, right? But before that, let me just click on logout. Okay. That's it and close browser. Okay. Save the script. Okay. So do you want to create a new object repository or no? That's what it is asking. Okay. Let's this time just override this one. Okay. So now if you see here, I've created logout. So here, once I click on login, I want to add a new step here. New step for the validation of, for validating the logout button. Okay. Let me verify element present. Okay. I'm verifying whether the element present or not. Which element? I want to verify the element of logout, right? Let's go here and select the logout button and then click on logout. So I'm verifying logout button present or not. Okay. I'm functionality of present. So let me run this again and see. It's going to pass the test case. Okay. So it's going to open the Chrome browser. Okay. It opened the Chrome browser. Login, verified and logout. So the test case is pass. Now let's create test suites now. Okay. So let me create test suite. So right click here. I already explained you, but anyway, I'm going to create one more test suites here. Okay. Test suite. First test suite is login test suite. Right. Click OK. Now add the test cases corresponding to login. Okay. Let me add all the test cases related to login. So as far as I know, I remember these three also related to login. This is also related to login. Okay. Click OK. So I have added the suite and let me create another suite. Registration. Click OK. And now add a test case related to registration. See, this is the entire test case collection. Okay. I'm adding. So as soon as you click on add, it will show you all the test cases. Okay. Take the registration test cases. Done. Let me create another test suite. This is logout. I'm just making these test suites to understand the concept better way. Okay. And then add this logout test case here. Let's assume you have multiple test cases related to logout. Okay. I have created all three different suites, right? So now I have already explained you how to run the test suites, right? All these concepts, and then how can you analyze the reports. Okay, so let me now I want to create test suite collection. Okay, and let me explain how can we perform parallel testing also. Okay, so here to create a test suite collection, go to file, click on new, and then click on test suite collection. Name this as login collection hyphen Chrome. Let me name this as like this. Okay, no, login collection. Let's assume login collection. Click OK. This is my login collection. That means any test case related to any test suite related to login and registration. So let me rename this. Okay, rename this as, okay, let me rename this as smoke collection. Let me rename this as smoke collection. Okay, so under smoke test, whenever I get the bill, I have to perform login functionality and logout functionality. Let's assume that I don't want to perform registration. Okay, so for that, so as soon as you add the log smoke collection, now when I click on add, it's gonna show you all the test suites, all test suites. It shows only test suites. Okay, if you see, these are all the test suites we have. Okay, so let's select my login test suite and then logout test suite, both the test suites to this smoke collection. Okay, click OK. So I have pulled two test suites to the smoke collection. Okay, so now let's execute this two collections and see it's gonna execute both of them. Okay, instead of logout, let me do one thing. Okay, let me remove this collection and let me add registration so that we'll understand the difference. Okay, let me add registration. Okay, so now login and registration, these two suites I have added as one collection. Now let's execute this. Okay, let me execute this. So as soon as, so before you execute, you have to save all the changes, then only it takes all the changes. Okay, let's click on execute. So as soon as I click on execute, it should execute my first test suite, which is login test suites, where I have two test cases, two or three test cases. Okay, it's going to execute three test cases, I think. Okay, it should open Chrome browser. Okay, it's going to log in, log out, and then again it's going to start with the second test case within the login test suite. So done, and then it's going to execute another login. Now it should open the registration test suite. Within the registration test suite, we have only one test case, right? It should open the Chrome browser, and then it should perform the registration functionality. The test case, it should execute registration test case. So it's opened the Chrome browser, login, and now see here it should perform. It should select the country, address, email, all these. Yes, it selected country, address, email ID, save, and logout. So that means, so if you see here, let me just show you one more time. Okay, if you see, the login test suite has three test cases. Registration has one test case. So that is what we made into the collection, correct? So now what if I want to execute? See, when I am executing, login functionality is different, registration functionality is different. both are not dependent on each other. Okay, because in the registration I'm also processing the login steps as well. So now what if I want to execute these two in parallel testing, which saves lot of time. Okay, so registration test cases will start execution and login test cases will start execution at a time. What should I do? If you see here, execution mode is in sequential. I want to execute these tests in parallel. As soon as I select parallel, now this suite and this test suite starts execution parallelly. Okay, let's observe now. Okay, click on execute. So as soon as before execute, you have to save the changes. Okay, save the changes. Click on execute. Now Chrome browser should be opened. It should open two instances and it should start execution. Okay, so if you see here, observe carefully, it opens Chrome browser two instances. Okay, right. So it opened one. Let me see if it opens another one as well. See, it opened another one as well. If you see here, see there are two. It's happening. Registration is happening here. Login is happening left side. So registration, this is registration test case. See, login functionality is still going on. So you can see another browser here. We have three login test cases, right? So it's completing the third login test case as well. So if you see here, registration is still going on. It's done. So because registration taking a lot of time. So if you see, as soon as the login testing is completed, even the registration testing is also completed. That means you're saving a lot of time here, right? So this is how you can perform parallel testing with the help of collection, test suite collections. Okay, and let me do one thing. Okay, so now let's assume, when I see this test suite collection I'm doing on Chrome browser, let's assume I want to test login functionality in Firefox as well. What should I do? Let me add a test suite, login test suite again. See, this is my login test suite. I'm adding this test suite again, but this time I don't want to execute login in Chrome. I want to execute login in Firefox. Click OK. Right? So now I want to perform login testing, login test only. So for that, you need to uncheck this. Right? Now let's see login test cases in Chrome, login test cases in Firefox. Right? And I want to perform parallel testing. So that means the test suite collection where I'm executing based on the way I would like to execute. It's not based on the logical division. Earlier we made a logical division. Login test cases as one test collection and then registration as another one. Right? So now I'm collecting same test suites, but I'm executing in two different browsers. Okay, so now I selected these two test suites within this collection, and now let's say this and let me execute now. So what happens now? The login test happens parallelly in both Chrome and Firefox. The Firefox performance is very slow, so hopefully it will take a lot of time for us to complete the Firefox. Okay, let's see now. It should open Chrome and Firefox, but it should perform login functionality itself in both the browsers. Okay, so if you see here, it is opening Chrome and then it should also open the Firefox. So it's opened the Chrome. So Firefox, see, if you see here, it opened the Firefox also. So the Firefox is slow. See here, this is Firefox. So it opened the Firefox. So let me minimize this and put it aside. If you see at the background, the Chrome is happening and Firefox is happening. Right. See the Chrome test case, second test case is happening here. Now it's log out. Done. Now again, it opens Chrome, it opens Firefox. See, it opened Chrome and the background, it is Firefox. See, this is Firefox, right? So Firefox, if you see, the Firefox execution is very slow. The performance of Firefox is slow. Okay, Chrome browser testing is done. Now Firefox testing is still going on. The third test case is going on. Okay. So done. So now you understand why do we need test suite collection to logically group the test suites into one collection, or to group the test suites in a way you want to execute. Okay, so basically we are grouping test suites, and then we can perform parallel testing, and then we can perform sequential testing, right? So if you see here execution information, where you will be finding these options, you can perform the test suite execution sequentially, or you can perform the test suite execution, basically test cases, parallelly. And also you can perform cross browser testing, and also in the same way cross platform testing also you can perform. Okay, so basically, so the test suite collection is very important whenever you automate a very big application with enormous number of test cases, and you have a multiple test suites, and then you need to execute them in a short time, where you'll be using parallel testing concept. And if you want to execute them in multi browsers, right, so you can use test suite collection by running them in different browsers, by running them in parallel. Okay, hope you all understand the concepts of test suite collections and then parallel testing by using Katalon automation tool. If you have any queries, please provide your comments in the comment box. I'll try to reply for your queries. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos on these concepts. Thank you.